you can test drive it for 10, paperwork for 30, and be eating at Texas Roadhouse within the hour. This is one edition of the Two Ball Tires podcast that Jason will tell you they'll have to shut me up because I am all about the financing. And I'll tell you why, because I ain't never, well, I shouldn't say never, but I was never in a position, especially as a young guy growing up, that I didn't have a plethora of money or a family that had money that could walk down and buy me a car. You know, my whole life has been evolved around credit. And, you know, before my mother died, I asked my mother a few weeks before she died, I said, Mom, what I do when you're gone? I'm not exactly sure what to do. I've always depended on you. I've always trusted your advice. Just tell me what I need to do when your time is up. And I'll never forget, as long as I live, true story. She said, pay your bills. If somebody gives you money, pay them back, because that way you can always go back to them and get more and more. And as long as you're good on your word, it's more than a sheet of paper. It's, Jason, you're going to let me have $30,000, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay you back. And if I do, the next time you may give me 40. But if I don't pay you back, that's why we brought this young man in, especially people with 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. You know, I just think it's so important, and I preach to my kids repeatedly, pay the bill. If somebody gives you money, pay the bill. And we want to talk some finance today. We got the finance guru in here.
Trent Thompson, one of our F&I managers here with us today. Thanks for joining us today, Trent. Appreciate it. Man,
I've worked with Trent, Lord, this year probably 5 or 6 different times. And I will say it's a super easy process. Especially, you know, I never felt like I had to jump through a bunch of hoops. They ask for the information, we give it to them, finds us the best interest rate, and you know, an hour later, you walk out with a car. And that's why we wanted to get you in here to maybe talk a little bit about the financing process, you know, what actually happens, what age can you finance, you know, can a 16-year-old come in? Do you have to have co-signers and all that kind of stuff? So, Jason, I'll let you kind of throw some questions out, and we'll let Trent, our man, answer them.
Okay, first answer, you have to be 18 to sign a legally binding contract. So
even if somebody co-signs with you, still got to be
a minor cannot sign a legally binding contract.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's one good thing. So don't be busting up in here as a 16-year-old just because you working at Applebee's trying to finance a Corvette out here, because it ain't gonna happen.
Well, we'll figure out some way to make it happen.
Well, never mind. Yeah, come on in and we'll work. We'll get Trent to work through it for sure.
You know, I'm kind of getting a little off your track though.
No,
one of the things we've worked on the last year or so is trying to speed up. Everybody complains about how long it takes to buy a car, and we've actually been tracking how long people spend in the paperwork section doing their paperwork, and we've speeded it up tremendously. And I would say we're one of the fastest in the
what was the process to speed it up? I've never felt that, especially this year. Of course, this is really the most times I've really been in finance. My wife done it. I've done it. My daughter, she bought a car from here. Isabella bought a car from here, and we never felt like it was painstaking or anything.
The main thing is, the interesting thing is, you know, when you inspect something, you can improve it. And I think just the fact that we know that we're on the clock, we just find little things that try to speed the process up.
Does that put more pressure on you?
What are some of the things that we do, Trent, that have made it faster since you've been here?
Well, process is one. Our system that we use, the salespeople, you know, they make sure all the paperwork's correct from the get-go. That way, when I get it, you know, I can go interview the customer and then get them out as fast as I can. It's, you know, accuracy of all the paperwork is, you know, I think important in that step.
I felt like when I bought my last vehicle here, we did a lot of the paperwork before I got to you. You know, if I remember correctly, you know, I forgot who I was working with, but we went to his office, got the Carfax situated and all that. And then, you know, it's like he high fives and go, okay, you're up next. And I can't recall, everything was pretty much done when I got there. You know, the credit was already approved, and now it's just a matter of signing the papers and walking out of there. So is that pretty much the process?
Yeah, yeah.
It is. Well said.
Well,
you know, and the other interesting thing is the quicker that we can get you in and out of that office, the quicker we can get the next person in there too.
Right.
So it actually helps from both standpoints.
All right, so I got a question, Trent. I go downstairs and I pick out the car, test drive it up and down, you know, the road right here, Route 60. Come in, go, I'll take it. What happens next? Take the viewer that maybe the first time buyer that's never bought a car. Take them through the process of start to finish, how it works, how it starts, and how it ends as they drive the car out and they own it. How's that work?
So the point where you say, I take the car, the customer will go over the payment options on a rolling average, credit, what the store, typically, sees.
Yeah.
Once they agree to the numbers, they get a credit application. They give it to me. I submit it to the banks. I go out, introduce myself to the customer, say, hey, my name's Trent. I'm your finance manager. I'll be doing all your paperwork. I pull them into my office, go over, what bank I went through, their terms. I'll go over state paperwork, power of attorney forms, odometer disclosures. Then I'll go over, protection packages. The voluntary packages, they're optional. They choose to decline them or take them.
Yeah.
And we just wrap it up, give them a temp tag or a hard plate, and they're ready to roll out here.
About an hour, maybe.
If everything goes good, 35, 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah, under an hour then.
Our average time right now, once you say, I want the vehicle, and you leave his office, our average time right now is around 40 minutes.
So you can test drive it for 10, paperwork for 30, and be eating at Texas Roadhouse within the hour.
Right.
Well, assuming there's not a lot of negotiation.
Right.
Because in between those negotiations
part,
I mean, we're talking about the point where we have a deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once both the customer and we agree we have a deal, it's about 40 minutes. So it just depends on how long it takes you to get to that point.
Man, I can remember years and years ago, you're talking about a half a day filling out paperwork. Didn't they say, well, you can go ahead and leave and we'll, it's like they almost had to drive to the bank to see if you could get credit. But when you're talking about under an hour, man, that's pretty stellar right there. So I think that's a great sales tool too, to know that you can come in, not a lot of hassle. I mean, you have to ask the questions, the pertinent questions or whatever. And if you, we got windows along the front of the back wall here. So if you see Jason up there with a counter, he's clicking off the time. He's got it down to a science. You're on the clock, 40 minutes in and out. Deal?
Deal.
All right, we're going to keep Trent around because we got more questions about finance, and you hang around with us, and we'll talk some more, okay? Y'all hang with us. I went in there, and they just tried to sell me everything under the sun, and it's gap insurance, and it's this and that.